been a few weeks there, my friends. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode here of Suburban Paranormal. As always, guys, do not forget we are on the Cinescape Media Network, and my apologies. The reason we're a little backed up here is because the server ran out of space, and I need to get that upgraded, which is taking place tonight as I'm recording this. So I apologize. That's why we're a week behind here, because we ran out of space to provide you the content. Also, I hope everybody's getting ready to get back. I know myself, we're getting ready to put the kids back in school, so things have been hectic. I hope everybody's having fun dealing with that as well, and we can all get back to normal. But now that everything's, done, we took one more vacation. Normal schedule will resume our every other week schedule. Plus, there really wasn't much coming out, at least that I was seeing, so I didn't want to just come on and just make 5-10 minute videos. But I mean, if you guys would prefer that, then let me know. Say it in the comments below, email me, any of the social medias, or suburbanparanormal@gmail.com. But anyway, we'll go ahead. Let's just dive in, see a couple stories here that I have found. So, and of course, the browser wanted to be crazy. So the first, we'll go right into some UFO stuff. So this first one I found very interesting, because one of the things that we always talk about, or like I like to say, is when you have multiple reports of the same instance occurring, so you have multiple stories that all corroborate each other, I always feel this helps lead lend credence, or whatever you want to call it, credibility to the story itself. And what I found interesting is you have not only a military but a commercial flight both reporting the same thing, and they saw it as a green UFO over Canada. Of course, it's assigned the catch-all weather balloon meteor, yada yada. But the case is unsolved, but I did find this to be pretty cool, because again, you have a military and a commercial flights, both those pilots reporting the same thing. So thought that was pretty cool. This one happened back on July 30th. So let's see, next story here. U.S. Navy, and this is an old one, but I just had it kind of show up on my feed. This is a Maxim story, apparently, but apparently there are reports of the UFO being underwater. Now, it's got a lot of the same videos we've seen before from Jerry McCorbell. They talk about this one, and then they've talked about, there's other reports as well of some underwater UFOs, which is interesting because you don't hear about those much, right? Like, every time somebody says, "Oh, I saw a UFO," they're looking in the sky, they saw a streak, or they saw something, right? It's very rare that you hear people talking about UFOs in water. So I'm curious to look more into how many sightings there are, if these are all just mostly military, or I should say, are they all military that's only reporting this stuff underwater, or is there people that have seen something under the water that have reported it as well? So if you know of any stories of those, send them along. I'd like to read them myself and take a look. So that's oh, sorry, I'm saying a few times today, but again, if you have any more of the stories of the UFOs underwater, because again, it's interesting, we don't hear about them very often, but I mean, it's not like they don't exist. So any more stories you have of UFOs underwater, send them my way. Moving along, the next story I found, this one I found kind of interesting. um, this is private entities, or the American, one of the big ones here, the American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronauts. They are demanding more studies into UFOs, right? There's been plenty of UFOs over the years, and it never seems like we do more than just, oh, they're there, right? So everyone, like they're calling here, everyone needs to kind of get on the same page, especially with how more prevalent this is in the public eye, right? Before it was, you don't talk about that, you're crazy. Nowadays, it's like, there's all these evidence, videos. Sorry. There's all this evidence, there's all these videos coming out that show that these things are real. Whether you want to say it's aliens, whether you want to say it's another foreign country, whatever, their government's doing this, it's one thing. But we need to be more transparent about it, and especially people that are in space. All these companies that are now, Virgin Galactic, everybody's trying to get to space, right? We're in another possible new age space race, if you want to call it, right? They need to be more transparent. And this is stuff we've been asking for how long now to just tell us, but they don't want to. And almost at a good point, you can say, well, there's some people that probably couldn't handle the truth if this was told to them. So it's a hard decision, right? I kind of get it, but of course it's annoying. But that's all I got really for UFO stuff. My transitions are great, right? You call me Linus with some transitions, except transitioning between stories and not sponsors. But I wanted to get to some cool ghost stuff that I had seen recently. This one I saw a few weeks ago in a Facebook group, and I'm going to play the video, and I take no credit for this. This is Luis Fernandez's video. He said he took it himself. They didn't realize what happened until after. So I'm going to play this video. Let me mute the sound here. But watch carefully at the table, right? Bunch of nail polishes. Right there. I don't know. It happens quick. Now, I'm playing the video to the end to let everybody see the whole thing, right? I didn't want to cut anything out, but we're going to watch this one more time. And for those of you that are not watching and you're just listening along, right? Right there in that video, this girl talking away, not even paying attention, and I'm glad I paused it here. As she's talking about this nail polish, one just kind of has a sudden jerky movement over to her. She grabs it with her hand and moves it back like nothing else happens. Of course, the guy is saying this is 100% real. There's a few things here that I know people have debated and tried to say is the cause of it. As you can see right here in this video, right behind her, there's a little boy running away. And that could explain for the camera shake that you see, and it's possible the kid was underneath the table. And that could have caused the nail polish to move. But there's a few nail polishes there. They're all within close proximity. They would have all moved. Now, I have seen, and I've tested this theory before, where there's something on the bottom of the nail polish, magnet underneath, and the way it jerks is almost like you move the magnet and it's trying to reach to itself. That's a very slim possibility here. Where I think that's hard to have happen is I think the girl's reaction due to her age every time would just be like she caught it, like, oh, I did it this time, I did it, and like unless they record and rehearse this thing 900 times, which I don't think has happened here. It's a very different. It's definitely a great video. Not very. It's a great video. Some of the other comments I saw that were kind of interesting to me were people that were saying she might be gifted, she might have something, like the fact that, is she using some kind of telekinesis unknowingly, pulling it into her hand. Maybe a little far-fetched, but I mean, it's a very interesting video. I'm curious if any of you guys on this Facebook forum have seen it, what you guys, unless you commented, I probably saw you. But anybody listening at home, I'm curious if anybody's seen this video. I've shared it on Facebook as well, so if you guys, I'd like to get a discussion on this one, because there's a few possible explanations, but they seem pretty unlikely. So the next one I found interesting. There was a visitor at a castle, Flint Castle, right? When he took the picture, I'm trying to blow it up here and it's bringing me to Twitter. So you can kind of see in this picture here, the gentleman didn't realize when he took the picture, you have this like black figurine looking running towards the camera. There's no facial features, but you can see some pretty clearly defined features of a human being here. It would be pretty. This one would be pretty easy to say this is just a photo trying to be passed as ghost evidence. I mean, there's too much to this one, right? Like, this guy looks like he's wearing a muscle shirt. Sure, the face is blacked out, but like, this looks like some pretty clearly defined like veins sticking out of like a muscle build bodybuilders, like flexing. They got their veins and shit. Like, it clearly looks like you can see the veins on the dude's arm. So I don't know. This I don't think so. And this is the kind of stuff. I mean, I could be completely wrong, but like, here's a clearly defined forward leg. You can see his shoes. Like, I don't know. It's another one that I thought I'd, like I said, I'll give my opinions on anything, whether I think it's real or not. And this is another one, and these are my reasons to why I think it's just no. But anyway, next one. This one's interesting. So a mayor has shared this video from YouTube, or I should say it's on YouTube, but
a Colombian mayor shared this video of his office where one of his security guard can be seen.
We're gonna not play that audio before YouTube yells at me, so real quick, let me pause that. But apparently, here is a video of a mayor who shared this video. I should say the mayor shared this video, and it's apparently a ghost is attacking his guard. Right there. Like, he's thrown into the wall. Right there, he looks like he gets kicked over. This jumps. I mean, the one thing you don't say about Fight Club, you don't talk about Fight Club, right? It almost has that kind of feel to it for me. So it was, as you heard, it was from Colombia. So are they trying to? I think they're trying to play on something here. For what reason, I don't know. But this one's really. I find this one to be very, very hard to believe. I think, yeah. This comment sums it up pretty much myself. He looks like he just stumbled a couple times on his feet. The one part where it looks like he gets thrown into the wall, that one really looks like he just did it on him. He just did it himself. But anyway, right? Moving on in the news. and then we'll go ahead and we'll talk about one thing before we close out for the night. But this one, this has got to be, and it's a little bit of crypto zoography, right? There hasn't been much of it, unfortunately, but this one is probably the most ridiculous it was on TripAdvisor. Like, really, you expected to go and have 100% guarantee that you were going to see the Loch Ness Monster. An urban legend, whatever you want to call it, that's been around for ages now, right? And you are mad that you didn't see something. People have dedicated their lives to trying and catch this thing, and you thought you were going to see it on a weekend? Come on. The world is going to hell with the amount of stupidity that is consistently displayed on a daily basis. And it's like, you can't, is this guy trolling us? What is he doing? But, like, you really got that mad that you left a review on TripAdvisor because you didn't see an urban legend? You need to do something with your life. You need to, if you don't have a girlfriend, you need to, oh, I'm sorry, he's got a wife and 2 kids. Bro, you need to be doing something more than to be getting mad over something like that. I don't know what you need to do, but you need to figure something else out. Anyway, last up, we have a possible Bigfoot photo right here in the center. This was reported to the Bigfoot Society on Twitter. Well, Jeremiah Byron, but he's at Bigfoot_Society. But the zoomed in picture here, if we can get it to come up, you can see what looks like at the mouth of this lake a very tall shadow-like feature. It definitely has a lot of people are believing into it. It's not a very well defined picture. It is another one that suffers from very low quality, so it's hard to really kind of discern any like distinguishable features. It's kind of hard to reference what the actual height may or may not be of the being, but this is apparently being shown as, the picture was taken by a radio host, but apparently this is one of the recent sightings of a Bigfoot, and I don't get how these pictures are still the ones we get when every frickin' 12-year-old's got a goddamn iPhone anymore. Like, if your phone's that bad and your kid's got a good phone, borrow your damn kid's phone for a minute. Like, or tell them to take the picture. They'll probably hold it more steady than you. Like, it drives me. It does. It drives me nuts. I mean, and I think this, and I don't think I've mentioned or said this before, but I know other people have had the same sentiment, but it's like, when all of the evidence that we keep providing is taken by pictures from early 1990s, from your early flip phones and shit like that, like, in a day and age where you can go spend $100 and get a phone with a good camera in it, but this is what we get consistently. So I don't know, but that's the most recent apparently Bigfoot photo. So anyway, get back to that. So that's what I had for the news. Like I said, we haven't done it in a while, where we kind of pick a topic and discuss it. And I'm just trying to fix this here. I watch a lot of, or I shouldn't say watch, I listen and kind of watch a lot of TV shows during the day while I'm working, while I'm doing, X, Y, and Z. I watch a lot of TV shows or things like that. And I've been recently rewatching the series Bones from Fox, and there was a couple episodes where they had a psychic on, and she said stuff, and we've talked a little bit about psychics before. And I think I've talked about this topic before, but I wanted to bring it up again because I did see it in the show. And that was the daughter of the two main characters. Their kid apparently had an imaginary friend. And the psychic just happened to be in that episode, and when she came over later in the day, and the main female character, Bones herself, had said to the psychic, oh, that's her imaginary friend, and the psychic says, yeah, whatever you want to say. I forget what her exact words are, but it was basically like, sure, if you want to think it's an imaginary friend. Which brings us back to the whole thing of children growing up. Are they able to see what we can't because they're more innocent? They're still learning things, and they could be seeing things that as an adult we don't, as an adult we don't see, but because a kid hasn't been preconditioned to shut certain things out of their mind or out of their psyche, whatever you want to call it, right? Like, because I don't remember myself personally having an imaginary friend, but I don't think it was something that I even maybe talked about. So, but I do remember I've seen plenty of things, right? Like, I don't have this podcast because I just believe. No, like, I've seen things, So, as a parent, when you're telling your kid, like, no, you're not seeing that or something like that, like, are you desensitizing them to a point where what they think they're seeing, they just shut off, right? And I mean, it's possibly a gift that you're killing in a sense. And it's always something, like, I think about this a lot as a father. My oldest is 8, right? And she hasn't really, like, she hasn't mentioned things. She hasn't said she's had an imaginary friend or anything along those lines, right? I've always waited for it because when she was really young, right when she was first born, me and my wife would notice little things that she would do where she seemed to be interacting with someone or something consistently in certain spots of the house or in our apartment. And at the time, like, I most recently lost someone, and so did my wife. So, we kind of always thought, is it really, them? They're coming to check up on us because they didn't get a chance to meet her because she was just born, things like that. And so I just kind of wanted to bring up this discussion again. I'm going to make a post on Twitter and Facebook, and I want to hear some stories. I mean, what do you guys think about this theory? I mean, it's been a theory for a while. I think there was somebody made an article on, like, the original TAPS website when Jason and Steven on them first started out. Like, this is something that's been talked about a lot. So I'm curious, any of my listeners, do you have kids? Do they say they have an imaginary friend, and are you not, like, encouraging it, but letting it naturally progress, or are you just flat out saying, no, you don't see anything, stop it, it doesn't exist? And what's your reasoning for that? Like, I'm not going to say you're doing the right or wrong thing. I'm just curious of your reasons, and I'm sure other people would be interested in that too, right? Like, this is an interesting topic that I think as parents it's something maybe we could discuss, right? So that's all I had for today. Again, I apologize about this isn't the first time I've done it, but things are crazy. We got a few, like I said, everything's going back to normal, though we may, we'll see. Life is what it is. But, so that's it. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to stop talking. As always, guys, I appreciate it. Go ahead. I'll have a subscription, button. If you could, please share, please like, please comment. And if anything, please, as always, feel free to reach out with any stories you want to maybe talk about. Have a good one, guys. I'll see you on the next one.